Thrilled to welcome Allen Greene on the Fan Hotline, Pitt Director of Athletics, on a little bit of a soggy morning, but news nonetheless. Allen, good morning. I hope you're well.
Hey, good morning. I'm doing fantastic.
You know, nothing like a Friday news dump, and it was a late Friday night news dump with the House versus NCAA settlement. I guess, Allen, sitting in your chair, your initial reactions to this news?
Yeah, a long time coming. I guess for the listener to be mindful of is the House case really combines three NIL cases. There's three major components to it, right? One is back pay, the other is rev share, and the third is eliminating scholarship restrictions in favor of roster limits. Most of us have focused in this industry have focused on the rev share piece and the roster limit piece. And what it does is provides clarity around a very new operational approach, which is significantly different than anything we've ever done before. But it also requires a commitment to enforcement, which is so desperately needed.
You know, Allen, you've been here for over 6 months now, and I know it's been busy, and preparation for this day has long been in the works. How have you and your team prepared, though, for this moment, and is Pitt Athletics ready for this?
Yeah, so number one, Pitt Athletics is definitely ready for this, and big kudos to the team and to our university administration. One of the things that is a huge benefit to us here at Pitt is the alignment between our board chair, our chancellor, myself, and our team, and our chancellor's team. And we've been able to have very transparent conversations about how we are preparing for the eventual approval of this settlement, which occurred last night. And we've been strategizing for 6 months and even beyond, but really robustly over the last 6 months. And I couldn't be more proud of the team for helping put us in a very strong position moving forward.
You know, Allen, I think there's a lot of folks that think this is the end of litigation and developments and new things in college athletics. You've long said that that will likely continue. What do you think is triggered by this settlement? What's around the corner?
That's a lot to unpack, Pat. I think if we're narrowing our focus down, there's still some things out there, right? I think student athlete employment is still a topic of conversation that's going to occur. I think rule setting is going to occur still, like in just how we are applying all the various rules in our industry that govern what we do. And I think there's still going to be conversations around congressional engagement, congressional involvement, congressional intervention, if you will. So this is, I guess, the beginning of a long journey that we're going to be on as the dynamics around college athletics shifts. This is the first major piece to fall, and there's certainly going to be other things that follow this announcement of the approval of the House settlement.
We're speaking with Director of Athletics at the University of Pittsburgh, Allen Greene, on Panthers Insider. Allen, you've obviously sat in the chair before. You've been an athletics director at two institutions prior to the University of Pittsburgh. How has the job changed, not only prior to this, but with this? Where has your focus shifted as a result of revenue sharing now being real?
You know, back in the day, we'll call it 4 or 5 years ago, there was a lot of time spent on trying to figure out how to build facilities, obviously recruiting and like the human transformational type recruiting. I remember we were talking about the transfer portal a little bit. We were talking about APR, things that if I were to look at my notes from 4 years ago, I don't even deal with anymore. And myself and my colleagues, the House case, the NIL piece, the rev share that's now on the docket, trying to manage in a very uncertain, unstable, unforgiving environment, trying to raise money, trying to figure out how to get new revenue streams. Myself and my peers, like that's where our primary focus has been over the last few years, and trying to anticipate and see around the corner on what's next and trying to be strategic in how we're leading our departments. Challenging, but incredibly rewarding.
You know, I know you can't get into specifics, but I want to drill down a little bit on just the financial burden this presents. Obviously, it's a new line item. $20.5 million in year one is the House settlement approval in terms of the quote-unquote salary cap, if you will. How is
Yeah.
that burden being met? And not specifically per se, but what combination of adjustments, but also additional revenue are necessary in order to meet the moment?
Yeah, so upon my arrival late this fall, we were anticipating the House settlement being approved at some point in time, and we took measures from the get-go to really evaluate our investments and where we were investing. And so we've redistributed our resources to help make sure that we are in best position for future success. And sometimes we have to look at things a little bit differently. We may have to have had to make some unconventional decisions, but every school is facing the same battle. It doesn't matter what Power Four league you're in. It doesn't matter if you're in the Big East or not. But if you're going to participate in a rev share, 20.5 doesn't just grow on a tree right outside people's offices. We have to be very strategic with how we're redirecting our resources to have the greatest impact, and we're no different.
Talking to Allen Greene on Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan. You've been a busy man. You penned a letter this morning that was released, and it's on PittsburghPanthers.com. It's on X. If you follow Allen Greene, you can read it. It details this and Pitt's response to it. But I want to read and call out one comment, one note you put on there. One thing will not change, quote, Pitt's unwavering commitment to winning championships and helping our student athletes compete at the highest levels in the ACC and nationally. I imagine you wouldn't be at Pitt if that wasn't the commitment, and I'm sure that doesn't change with this news.
There's been three pillars throughout my career and leadership with regard to college athletics that we followed. The first is making sure that our student athletes are achieving academically. The second is that we are helping develop and creating productive members of society. And the third is we want to have a championship caliber program. And I would not be at Pitt if I didn't think that was possible here. We're not going to have the most money, right? That's part of who we are, but we may have the most grit. And we've got to figure out how we are going to leverage all that is uniquely Pitt and use that to our advantage. And there's a will, there's a way. And we are going to find a way to win at Pitt, and that is probably one of the most exciting pieces of the job.
Last one for you, Allen. For those listening, for Panther Nation collectively out there, what is the call to action? We've been anticipating this. We all have a role to play. What can fans, donors, supporters do to help our cause?
Yeah, that's an excellent question, Pat. I think first and foremost is I want our fans to know that we've been preparing for this day, and we've been preparing for this moment in college athletics. There's still lots of uncertainty. There's still things that are going to unfold, and there's still meat to be put on the bone, if you will, with regard to the rules of engagement around this House settlement being approved. But we are going to we're prepared for it, and we are going to adapt to the things we need to adapt to in order for us to continue on our path toward excellence and greatness. I think specifically, and this is unfortunately part of this new world order that we found ourselves in, things have become more transactional. Success has become more transactional. And with that, I mean, there's a greater expectation for people to contribute financially. And as you and as your colleagues are out pounding the pavement in people's offices, for us, sometimes it might be on the golf course, but people, we're going to ask people to come along on this journey with us. And I enjoy having fun on Saturdays. When we went down in Acrisure Stadium, I know our fans do as well. This is the city of champions, and we like to win, and we expect to win. And it's going to be a community effort. It's going to be a team effort. We're going to do our part to resource and allocate our resources appropriately, but we're going to need the support of the Pittsburgh community, financially in particular, to help us pull this off. And I'm really excited about the opportunity that we have here at Pitt to really make a mark in this modern era of college athletics.
Oh, me as well. And Alan, I want to thank you on a Saturday morning. I know your family's in tow now in Pittsburgh, which is great. You got a lot to do with the house and so forth. So making time, I appreciate your leadership, and look forward to great days ahead.
Well, Pat, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me on. Now that the easy work is done in talking about house, I got to go make some waffles and eggs and bacon.
There you go. Hey, that sounds like a good job.
Be my friend. Thanks so much. Hail to Pitt.
There he goes, Allen Greene, Pitt Director of Athletics.